Hi, this is Vinita Bhatia. I'm the editor of Campaign India, and this is day three. And it's a very hot, very sultry day. I cannot stop saying that, but it's not keeping us away from meeting some of the most exciting people in the industry. And one of them is Adam Singolda, who is the CEO of Taboola. And he's going to tell us about some of his experiences in Cannes. And we're not going to touch about the weather. I mean, enough has been said about it, right, Adam?
Of course.
So
But
let's
I agree that with the way you set it up, which is a little warm, a little humid, but we're doing the work.
Yes, because the work is what matters. And it's so interesting that you're meeting folks from New York at Cannes. How
Yes.
cool is that?
It's quite funny. It happens every year. It's like a good amount of the people that you want to spend time with are actually from where you are. But the chances, all of us would be at the same time, and you can just pack your schedule like 30 minutes, one after the other is rare. And it's not that bad to be with that background. So I guess, it's just a more productive way of packing everything in one place and then finish the day with a Spotify party or a Yahoo party or something, and then get exhausted, go to sleep, and again.
So, how many parties have you been to in the past couple of days?
I've done only one. I've done Spotify yesterday, and I'm going to the Yahoo one today. And outside of that, I was trying this visit to be a little more relaxed. Just like when maybe try to sleep by 1 a.m. and not later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're actually being able to do it much better than me. I haven't gone to a single party so far. We have a campaign party happening today. And I said, I'm going to reserve all my energy over there because you're going to meet a bunch of exciting folks there. I said, you know what? I'm going to go zen because if I overextend myself, tire myself, I'm not going to
Yeah.
be able to do
Yeah.
justice to our own party.
I was running, across the ocean. It's amazing. So if you take this approach of investing a little bit more in you, and then get into the day, I think it's better. So I'm happy with my decision. A little bit less parties, more action.
Fabulous. And I'm going to also go into one of the arguments that you had made a while ago, that AI, because that seems to be the word that every third sentence has AI, agentic into it.
Right.
It's difficult to even realize that this is a festival of creativity anymore. But you had mentioned at one point in time that AI won't disintermediate the open web because trust ultimately resides with publishers. And yet, consumers are increasingly accepting AI generated answers without even bothering to click through. So, are there any evidences that you are seeing that suggests that convenience won't eventually trump source credibility?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the type of. I mean, there's no doubt that some publishers are going to get more hurt from this, and we have a good kind of like first row seat into this because we're seeing a lot of publishers around the world, and we don't have kind of purview into the smaller sites. But my guess, years later, what's going to happen is long tail, which we don't have long tail business, but small publishers. I'm guessing a high percentage of their traffic is search. And they're probably they're going to feel the pain if they did not already feel the pain now. And they're going to have to kind of start their business in other ways, not as a traditional website. I'm guessing they're going to be leaning towards social commerce, creator economy, Snap, Instagram, TikTok, huge growth there as well. So consumers that used to go to small blogs through search, I think will meet them on other social platforms, and those are not exposed at all to AI because you're still going to your TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snap as much, if not more. Then you have the bigger ones. I think brand is going to be a big deal. Brand, direct-to-consumer brand recognition is going to be really important for advertisers. It's going to be really important for publishers. If you have consumers coming to you directly and they appreciate you, then there's something you do that matters to them, and it's a relationship. I love the Knicks. I will never, ever trade my ESPN, USA Today Sports, highlights, commentary, provocacies that I consume daily with a shorty, quickie ChatGPT question. Not because ChatGPT can tell me the score. I'm a human. I want to see some stuff. I want to laugh. So I think there's some areas where you're seeing big brands, sports, entertainment, local, that are way more resilient. Do I think people are immune? No. Which basically means that those who have that brand have the license to invest, to create more engagement and more revenue with the consumers who come to their site. And that's what excites me the most. because I expect a decline even for the big ones. But I think they have a huge opportunity to adopt AI, adopt agentic AI, and to grow revenue in other ways.
You know, you mentioned that you give a very good example about Next and ESPN, right? Now, yet at the same time, this is so evident. It's so obvious that one doesn't really need to spell it out the way you have. Yet a lot of publishers seem to be getting it wrong. Either they are veering off to one end or the other, and without being able to find the middle balance. So, what do you think are they getting wrong when it comes to preserving trust, which is the most crucial asset that they have in an AI first environment? And how can they rectify that?
The trust, the building trust and sustaining trust is something publishers know best. It's not my job to even consider, I think, even addressing that part, because that is something they've been doing for 10 years, 50 years, hundreds of years. That is the job. But what's around that trust? The consumer experience. To me, this is where publishers have a choice of, and I spend a lot of my time with big publishers. It's a culture. It's funny how, with innovation, we go back to the biggest kind of unlock for growth is not technology, it's not investors, it's culture, it's people. You're sitting in a position where you can ask yourself, am I going to evolve really a lot as a publisher and try to be part of what's going on, or I'm going to take my time? And I'll give you an example. We have a product called Deeper Dive, which is essentially our AI answer engine for consumers on a trusted publisher site. So as an example, USA Today or Huffington Post or BuzzFeed or Reach in the UK and many great publishers in Japan, like all around the world. And what this product does, it basically says, culturally, AI is not something we can ignore. Consumers spend so much time on Gemini, ChatGPT, and Claude. They come to us, they love us, they show us we matter. What experience do we want them to have here? If they want to ask a question, can we do that for them too? And we saw this need to be part of that. And we're seeing, good growth rates in adoption and things. To me, that is an answer to your question, which is, it's like the trust is your job. This is the food and water and oxygen of your existence. But what do you do with that trust? How do you amplify that engagement so that consumers feel awesome? It's relevant, it's personalized, I can talk to you in my language. All those things can either be part of the roadmap or not. And that will help supercharge growth and alleviate some decline from search.
Okay, got it. And for a very long time, digital advertising was optimizing declared intent and a social signal. And I was reading about your curiosity graph. Now that suggests that people reveal far more to what they choose to read, right? Has there been a moment when, advertiser behavior actually contradicted audience behavior that you have come across?
Well, I think, so we see a lot of times early stages when advertisers say, we want to target this type of demographics, not realizing that perhaps, something completely different is relevant for them. Something they think men are their buyers, and then they realize, no, women are the one buying the product for their spouses and partners. And so we see cases where you might think something is the relevant one, but actually, a sports site would be better for you. So that we see that a lot of times. But eventually, the responsibility of Taboola as a platform and Realize, which is our advertising-facing platform, is to allow advertisers to have campaigns they fully manage and control. That's what Realize allows you to have full control, always with transparency. But we also have Realize Plus, which is kind of like Google Performance Max, if you will, which is more autonomous behavior. So as an advertiser, you can tell Taboola, I want 7 campaigns. I want some of them on mobile, some of them in these geos, some of those targeting this readership. And now they can have another campaign that says, by the way, here's my actual goal. How about you compete with me? You do whatever you want to do, and let's see what happens. So we're trying to give, which is what Google and Facebook do. So we're trying to give advertisers kind of similar walled garden experience outside of the walls in the open web. And I do, you mentioned curiosity graph. I find it fascinating as a consumer that, we make decisions all the time. Some of them are meaningless and some of them matter more to us. And when it comes to bigger decisions like healthcare and travel or automobile or, in-house stuff, we always spend the time to feel good about making that decision. And I always joke that if you travel your family trip using ChatGPT and you've never went to YouTube to see a video of that resort, and you've never went to TikTok to see if someone went there and did some videos, and you never went to some travel site that maybe had some editorial teams sent, like USA Today Travel, then I think you're coming back with a very upset family. Like that family is not like in your, you have some, job to do to regain that trust. So, and I give that example because it's too important. You may start on ChatGPT, but the likelihood you're going to ignore the part where you enjoy getting educated on something, I think is not going to happen. And same goes for social. Will I share a healthcare problem that I have on my Twitter or on my Meta? Unlikely. It is too personal. It's something I am going through, or something or someone I care about, but I'm going to read about it.
Correct.
And same even in advertising and media. Am I going to reveal all of my questions about? Maybe I don't feel comfortable about agentic. Maybe I don't even know what agentic AI means. Let's say, am I going to post about it? No. Will I go on Instagram? What am I searching for? Like, I don't know but I'm going to go to relevant publication that maybe cover the space to get educated, so I feel more comfortable about myself. So there are so many cases where trust and depth and being anonymized, this entire experience around this curiosity graph, I think is so valuable. And from the advertiser point of view, I can meet you then.
No, that's very interesting. And you also alluded to walled gardens, which is what my next question to you is that, the industry still channels a bulk of their ad spend into the very few handful of walled gardens at there. And this is despite the fact that there is evidence that, consumer attention is very fragmented. You gave the example that, you might want to go to one channel, but there is a lot of information that is there that consumers are going through. So do you think this is primarily a measurement problem or a procurement problem or simply, institutional inertia?
I think it's, I never blame the client. And the client does what the client's supposed to do to succeed, and in a very hard, difficult, macro situation over the last, I don't even know. It hasn't been boring for a long time, So I never blame the buyer. I think if you put yourself in the shoes of the buyer, whether that's an agency, a holdco, or an enterprise or a small client, it's very hard to succeed. And you're trying to reach an outcome. At the end of the day, Google and Facebook, Meta, they're very, very good. Shit works. And to try to be cute about it is just emotional. So it's a must buy. You have to buy it, and you have to give them as much money as you can until it doesn't work anymore. CTV, I think is another big one. CTV and TV works. I think it's evolving fast also into a performance kind of play. We can talk about that too, but you probably want to consider putting some money in TV because it works. But then you look at the open web, it's still fragmented. Taboola is a $2 billion company, but that's not big enough. We need to be 4, 6, 8, $10 billion revenue so that advertisers seriously say, you know what, look, it's big enough. It's, how could we ignore that? So I think when I look at the mirror and I'm saying, I haven't yet to become big enough so that all of these advertisers are saying open web matters. And I think also our job is to simplify the process. So when they buy from us in the open web, we realize it feels like it is buying from Meta. It feels like it is buying from Google. And until it's completely simple and completely fun, then we have the work. It's on us, And at the same time, I think, keep improving the quality of the data with deeper dive and other things. That's our responsibility. So to me, I look in the mirror and I say, well, Taboola, more work.
And what's the kind of work going to look like? Have you set those, pegs in the ground saying that, okay, in another 2 years after deeper dive, this is what you're going to do, even more deeper of a dive or something like that? What's those milestones?
Yeah, we're hard at work. 1, adding great partners. 2, looking for partners that have unique data, logged in data, intent data, commerce data. So we love those people. We're like yum yum yum. We're going in, and we're in general doing a better job. I think kind of like looking at the data we already have access to, and how do we take advantage of that data. So I think data is a much bigger pillar of our future and our partners' future as well. So we do have a lot of initiatives we're working on, but at the end of the day, it's around how do you use AI and agentic AI in a world that's changing so fast to make advertisers even more successful and to make publishers grow the ARPU, the value of a reader, and get that reader to stay and stick around. These are the goals. That's the work. And then how do you do it? Every company is taking a different kind of approach.
I like the earlier example you gave about the travel part, right? If someone is going to go have a family trip and they slap everything onto a chat GPT without even bothering to go on a TikTok or an Instagram or a YouTube, yeah, it's not going to be a very happy family at the
No.
end of the day, right? So that means that personalization, a personalized internet is a great opportunity also to expand the overall advertising market rather than redistribute it, right? Has there been any very strong proof where you have seen, or rather Taboola has seen, where personalization has created genuinely incremental
No, 100%.
demand? Can you give an example?
So first of all, if let's start with the publisher side. If on a publisher side, like we have a product called Homepage for You, which is part of kind of like audience engagement solution suite. If a publisher personalizes their homepage fully, so like For You page on TikTok, which the page is completely personalized, that page will generate at least 30+% engagement and click-through rates to that site. So that means that there's 30% more opportunities to show ads, 30+% opportunities to try to get the consumer to subscribe, give you your email login. So that is one of the good examples that personalization is really powerful because it increases your chance to engage and monetize. And I think for advertisers, it's primarily working with companies that when they test partners and they have an outcome in mind, they can quickly understand if that it's going in the right direction or not. So I think that is the fundamental goal of an advertising platform or of any kind, is to use all the data and AI to try to get to that outcome fast. And also remember that more and more over time, AI is a little bit of a commodity. I mean, anyone can download Llama, OpenAI, like it's free. I can be in high school, download the bloody thing and just play with it. Anyone can do that. And it's fairly good. Even though open source is always a few versions back. So, and anyone can download Claude Code, and for $100 a month or $200 a month, if you're really a Claude junkie, you can do anything. So what is left? And if AI is free and great, who wins? And I think the answer is going back to those who have unique data and those who have distribution, unique distribution. Snap has unique distribution, young audiences. Taboola has unique distribution. 10,000 publishers, first party code on page, curiosity graph, unique. Search says, special, YouTube special, TikTok special. But I think if you're somewhere in between, and these are not your audiences, and you don't have unique data, I think that's a risk you carry now.
And I think that's the kind of situation that a lot of agencies find themselves in, because what is happening is that they have the AI agents and they are positioning them as campaign planners, buyers, and optimizers, right? And if they start deploying, especially their own proprietary agents at scale, do you think that, where does it leave the AdTech platforms?
I think agencies who will lean into agents buying from agents and will try to acquire or develop data sets that are unique. We've seen Publicis with LiveRamp, and we've seen other agencies do cool things. I think those agencies will go up and right and have a huge opportunity. I'm very optimistic about holdcos because for the first time they can own this IP. They can take advantage of first-party data like never before. That's an amazing baseline to take all of your relationships and put it in. I think AdTech is going to go through a severe collapsing because I'm not sure programmatic stays. If I'm an agency and I want to get to you, why do I need a 30 years old programmatic protocol to go through a DSP to an SSP to a partner when I can just have my agent talk to your agent? So I think to try to prevent that from happening is like trying to control AI, and I don't think you can. So if your Claude Code can search for agents that can fulfill your objectives, unless you have unique data and you have unique users, I think Claude is bypassing you. So I'm optimistic about agencies because I think they're going to go there. And I think AdTech is going to have to reborn somehow. Companies will have to ask themselves, what's our strategy? And some are better positioned, some are less.
So, there's a very interesting, I've been speaking to some of the publishers over here, and a lot of those conversations have been centered around, or rather, the Gen AI conversations with them have been centered still around search. Um, and yet they are also experimenting with AI experiences now, where they want to keep their audiences within their own ecosystems, right? Maybe it's again for reasons. Where they feel that this is the best way we can leverage and lean in and ensure that we can make the most of it. One doesn't know, but if in your conversations with these publishers, have there been certain insights about those efforts that they're doing that might have surprised you, or certain assumptions about the publisher economics that you think?
I think we've, all of us as an ecosystem, have kind of neglected the value of data and capturing data. And so I think we haven't done a great job yet, but I think that changed completely. Thanks to AI and the speed of change, everyone is asking themselves, how many logins do we have? How many emails do we have? What type of content? What signals do we get from the content? What pixels do we have? It's no longer like a board conversations, and this is like everyone at the company is speaking about it. So I just think we've done a mediocre job because we didn't need to deal with it, but now we do. So like always in life, you change a lot of times because you have to. I think we as an industry, we see the greed, we see the fear, we're going in.
Okay, fair enough. My last question to you, Adam, is that, this is a festival of creativity that we are in, right? And as I've been walking up and down over here, a lot of the conversation still is around automation, efficiency, AI, agentic, generative AI, SEO, so on and so forth. As you have walked up and down and, gone for a couple of parties and have conversations, what according to you is that one topic that the industry people are avoiding, and why?
Avoiding? So I don't know if they're proactively avoiding. I don't know. I think people are, thinking about the future of programmatic buying and AdTech and agencies a lot this week. People are, I think this week there's a lot of conversation about that. And I don't know if we're yet all the way leaning into that, but it's there. I think as relates to the creative, like it's such a, what we're skipping is the week before here, there's like, this creativity, celebrating creativity. Historically, was just about, the outcome of the creation. But I think with Cloud Code and Codex and AI, what this could mean over time is that we're going to see a lot more creation. It's such a beautiful future to enable anyone to, dream and build something and be creative and get some distribution and see if that dream has merits. This is something that was, up until now, was only left for a very small subset of humanity out of the 8 billion people or something that we have. And on the other side of it, creativity that we know to date is going to be so much more available and democratized. And I love that. I love it for my kids. I love that for humanity. And I think that is probably one of the best unlocks of AI of all things. Not that advertising is not important. We matter. But the most beautiful thing that I think will come out of it is empowering billions of people to dream and do something about it. So to me, what leads into this event, which is the creative one, is going to be so much different over time.
You have, more or less repeated something else, and Artisadon of Publicis mentioned when he was giving a session at Campaign House on Monday. CAN entries have dropped this year by almost 25%. And when he was asked a question what he thinks about it, he said he welcomes it. He says the lesser the number of entries means the better the creativity, the better the kind of creative work. So he says that judging the work on the basis of the number of entries is anyways not the right way to do. And, you're literally saying the same thing. It's the work that matters, not the number of entries. Of course, the folks at Informa might not agree with it. That's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But at least you're saying the thing that, it's creativity that matters. Tech and the other layers are going to be there. They're going to work in the background, like the hum of the AC that's there in the room, right?
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you for having me. Always fun doing this, and enjoy CAN.
Thank you, and you too.